Hello everyone, this is PK Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video review, and this will be my very late and belated movie review of Top Gun Maverick. Now there will be spoilers for anyone who hasn't yet seen the movie, so just beware when going into this overall video. Now the movie of course was released earlier in 2022 on May the 27th, starring Tom Cruise, Miles Teller, Ed Harris, Jennifer Connelly, John Hamm, Val Kilmer, and it was directed by Joseph Kosinski. It is the long-awaited sequel to the 1986 original, which was the biggest movie of that year, grossing over $357.3 million worldwide. Whilst not received critically as well, the movie definitely reached a cultural status, especially in terms of 80s blockbuster cinema. Now the setup of Top Gun Maverick is that it picks up within the title character, Pete Maverick Mitchell, who is in the role of a test pilot, and despite having the credentials to become an admiral, he prefers to keep flying the planes. But after going against protocols testing a prototype plane, Maverick is disciplined and warns that the AI will eventually take over from manned aircraft. Instead of being fired, he's given an assignment to train a group of graduates from the Top Gun program. As the story progresses, Maverick constantly clashes with his superiors over his training methods. He also feels responsible for the pilot of his deceased friend Goose. Now looking at Top Gun Maverick, it overall is a very slick, well polished, put together piece of entertainment. Everything from the visuals, the soundtrack, the editing is all polished to produce a very straightforward and accessible movie. It 100% rides on all of the nostalgia from the original, being essentially a HD upgrade of the first film. And you can't deny that visually it does look great, of course. We note the flying sequences, which are all superbly executed. If they're not completely CGI free, then they definitely look it. Everything from the close-ups and the angled shots and the tracking shots and audio, it's all technically accomplished, and it does generate a certain amount of excitement and tension. We get of course the original movie's score and the iconic songs such as Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone. We also get a flashback sequence of Maverick and Goose in a bar playing the piano, and of course the appearance of Val Kilmer's Iceman. So it's all there to pull at your emotions, especially if you're a major fan of the original, which I wasn't, to be honest, but it's still simple enough for you to enjoy even if you haven't watched the first film. And whilst it's obviously devoted to the original, it won't alienate a new audience, and I think this was very smart from the director and key to the movie's overall success at the box office. At the heart and centre of it all is of course Tom Cruise. The first film introduced him of course to mainstream cinema as one of the most iconic and archetypal movie stars, a status that he's impressively managed to maintain 36 years after the original's release. And he truly dominates the majority of this film. Despite being 62 years old, he still plays Maverick as if he's from 1986, with all of the trademark smiles, riding the motorcycles, sneaking out of the window after a one-night stand. And it's a testament to Cruise's lastability that he's still able to convince in this type of role, both physically and personally. Now Cruise's dominance does mean less time for other actors to shine, but it's still great to see Jennifer Connelly as alluringly beautiful as ever, and she's the main love interest, Penny, and she does have good chemistry with Tom Cruise, certainly in the first half of the movie, before sadly disappearing in the second half. Miles Teller is also fine as Goose's son, which of course offers some emotional moments with Cruise, again referring back to the original movie, and he's probably the only other actor, apart from Tom Cruise, who's able to have a substantial role for the most of the film. Now for all of its merits, Top Gun Maverick does share some of the same weaknesses of the first film. There is a certain lack of characterization concerning the other pilots, and this is again due to the main dominance of Maverick's role throughout the film. The movie also does play it safe with all of the last minute saves and rescues, and after a while it does get a bit repetitive. As impressive as the flight sequences are, the climax is a bit drawn out after a while, and you do kind of feel the length of it towards the end of the movie. The story as well feels a bit basic and a bit empty. I wouldn't say it's soulless, but it's just a bit predictable and a bit by the numbers when you consider what goes on throughout the film. So if I had to give an overall score for Top Gun Maverick, I would give it a 6.9 out of 10. Now of course the movie's box office exceeded all expectations to become currently at the time of this video the year's biggest movie, grossing over $1.4 billion worldwide from a $170 million budget. And feeding off all of the nostalgia, it also benefited, I believe, from its delayed release. Originally was slated to come out at around 2020, of course this was pre-pandemic, and coming out 2 years later, post the recovery of the pandemic amidst less competition, I think definitely has helped the movie succeed beyond what many people felt it would. And as a popcorn entertainer movie, there is very little to complain about in terms of this film, but I do feel that there has been a certain overhype in terms of the movie itself and its impact. Now, during its release, we've had all sorts of statements made about this film, about how it's a return to old school movie making, how it's confirmed Tom Cruise as the last remaining movie star, how it's one of the greatest movie sequels of all time, how it's the standard as to how movies should be made overall. And all of these statements I completely disagree with. I still look at Top Gun Maverick as essentially a nostalgia cash grab sequel, in the same way as what we saw with the likes of Ghostbusters Afterlife, Matrix Resurrections and Jurassic World. This isn't a film that is groundbreaking or revolutionary, it's just a repeat really of the original, with much more improvements in terms of modern day aesthetics. Now, in an early video within this channel, I did state that its massive success may actually set the industry back, as we could get far more sequel cash-ins rather than original works. There is also the issue, I believe, of superhero fatigue, which I think contributed a lot to Top Gun Maverick's success. Now, we all know in terms of that genre, superhero movies have basically dominated entertainment for over 12 years now, propelled largely by the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Top Gun Maverick has been seen as some sort of riposte or antidote to the superhero films, and that this will be a very much changing of the guard. And yes, we can look at Top Gun Maverick as a very much of a big budget, high profile alternative to the superhero movies, very much counter programming in many ways. But let's be real here, it's not going to defeat the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the huge wave of superhero movies in general. I would also be wary of the suggestion that just because Top Gun Maverick has been hugely successful, that we can now take any 80s classic movie and try and redo it in the same fashion and hope it will generate the same $1 billion at the box office instead of the superhero movies. So in terms of the main criticism and hatred or indeed fatigue of the superhero films, I do think there's been a certain amount of false praise and narrative around Top Gun Maverick, holding it up to be some sort of flag bearer or trendsetter in terms of how we will be seeing movies turn out in the next couple of years. I just don't think the movie is as impactful or as influential as what people are making it out to be. And I think overall its success was indeed due to a certain amount of nostalgia and also superhero hatred or fatigue. Overall, it's just a very technically accomplished, accessible, watchable film, indeed a superior sequel to the original, but it's nothing more than that, I would say, overall. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings and very late review of Top Gun Maverick, and whether its success is really down to nostalgia and superhero fatigue. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you've indeed seen the movie, how did you rate it? Did you believe it was more superior to the original? Did you think it was weaker to the original? And if you do feel that way, in what department do you feel it didn't match up to the first film? And do you feel that its overall success has indeed been down to much more nostalgia and superhero fatigue? Or do you believe that it was just a very good, excellent movie and it earned its right to be very successful at the box office because of that reason alone? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if there are any other movies or television series that you would like to see me review later on within this channel, then also drop me a suggestion within the comments and I will see if I could provide that commentary for you later on down the line. Please also hit and like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, stay at safe distances, and I will see you very, very soon.